Let us have one last look at the best bits of the Crowdstrike 24 Hours of Spa for 2024. The centenary edition attracted a mega entry, a vast crowd, and the Belgian Air Force Red Devils were overhead as Jackie Ickx waved the flag to release the cars onto the green flag lap. And then, when you had the lights go green, it was a storming start by the pole-sitting Pereira Lamborghini that put that into the lead, with Lucas Auer behind in second place as they went toe-to-toe up the hill towards Radion for the first time. The field streaming through, everybody safely up Eau Rouge, despite one or two rattling over the curb. But battle could then start to settle down a little bit, with up front Lamborghini taking on Mercedes AMG as the cars fought their way up towards Les Combes. An early pit stop as the 48-man filter liveried Mercedes came to the pit road, but other drivers were having their own private battles. Audi not at this point really thinking about overall positions, but they were having class battles. Lucas Auer had a puncture, and that was the first real drama of the race then. The lead car suddenly badly delayed, whereas one or two others were finding themselves on their toes getting up through the traffic. The 007 Aston Martin was looking good early on. A full course yellow called for, and that caught out one or two who didn't slow quickly enough. Ivan Klimenko's Audi being very badly damaged. Then Nicolas Bart and Christian Hook got involved. That was coming past the old pits. Christian Hook's car damaged, so was the Aston, but that wasn't the end of it. An enormous hit as Adrian de Silva ploughed into the parked car. Everybody, thankfully, was okay. Adam Smalley's McLaren had a brake problem. He pitted. Valentino Rossi assaulted Davide Rigon, and he got a drive-through penalty for his pains. And the fans' attention then turned to the fireworks. And then in turn to the concert. And then in turn to the weather. A tradition, it seems, these days of Spa at night is very heavy rain, and that in turn brought thunder and lightning and safety cars. Carol Bash for the Mad Panda Motorsport team had a difficult evening, but he was able to rejoin, and the mechanics just had to try to grab a little bit of sleep wherever and whenever they could. Lilo Wadu was assaulted by the Ferrari number 71. Thomas Neubauer's car eventually retiring. The Sky Tempesta car badly delayed, and Max Janssen had this big off at Eau Rouge, and he was absolutely heartbroken as he saw the chance of a race finish slip away. As dawn broke, Klaus Bachler's Porsche was making good progress into the lead of the race as the Garage 59 McLaren found itself virtually on three wheels, the tyre arriving a little bit later. After another interruption, we went green, and Alessandro Pierguidi went around the outside of Raffaele Marciello. This enormous off for Joel Stern put 911 out of the race. He too was okay, but it was a very broken car, and it gave us yet another interruption. As by this point, Augusto Farfus, Dan Harper, Max Hesser's BMW was looking good and working its way up to the front. Great Porsche battle between Matt Campbell and Patrick Niederhauser. Niederhauser lost the place, but on the outside line proved who was the bravest. And John Hartshorn, sadly, cannoned into the barriers coming out of Brussels to bring out yet another caution period, and that was a very mangled Kessel Ferrari. Battle in the pits between Rover Racing and Contiu, and then when Valentino Rossi hit Nicola Rossi, and he in turn took the number 35 Romain Leroux Aston, we had another interruption and a penalty for Rossi. It became a battle between AF Corsa, Rover Racing and Contiu, between Ferrari, BMW and Aston Martin, and the Aston was looking for a way past the BMW as it seemed the Ferrari had finally cracked the opposition. Pierguidi was ahead as the 7 Aston battled through. But then, the last pit stop, and Pierguidi couldn't get into the pit lane. Astonishingly, a car had expired ahead of him. He lost nearly a minute being stationary, and that cost them the race. He charged, and Alessandro Pierguidi took third place. But in contrast, the expressions in the Contiu garage were completely different, as the Aston was heading for the first victory for the brand since 1948. Alessandro Pierguidi pushed on for second, but Matteo Druni, Marco Sorensen and Nicky Team won the Crowdstrike 24 Hours of Spa to the delight of the team.